All right, we're back. We're back in business here, talking all
We are.
things marketing tools, what we use, and yeah, maybe this will lead to some good insights for anybody curious about, general marketing tools, audience research tools, all that good stuff.
Yeah, figured, what do we use every day or every other day? I think sometimes you kind of forget when you're working, like, oh, I use this tool or I have a subscription to this. Um, I think it'll be helpful just to kind of know. And if you don't know about these tools, you can take a look and see yourself if, it's something that is applicable for what you do. So I don't know who wants to start first here. Um,
I was gonna say I definitely know what your probably like top go-to would be like some type of like LLM, whether that's ChatGPT or whatever. I feel like that's got to be like a no-brainer to start off here.
yeah, as a marketer, you got to have some sort of AI tool that's helping you with ideation, keyword topics, even client communications. We've talked about that before. So, I mean, my go-to right now is ChatGPT. I've been an early adopter. I've tried the others, but I've got a good process set up with it for what I need. Like I've built some of my own little widgets in there for like repetitive things that I do. So I would say ChatGPT is my go-to for now until proven otherwise.
Do you ever, I was just gonna ask, do you ever use any others and like compare? Like, will you ever prompt that and then paste the same prompt in another one?
Sometimes like when I'm doing like keyword research ideation stuff, like I'll give it to ChatGPT, but then I'll give it to Gemini, um, and see what comes out. And a lot of times there'll be some I take from there and there. So sometimes I mix it up. Um, yeah. What about you?
I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to do that way more lately. And I mean, ChatGPT, I feel is like a no-brainer, especially if you have like GPT-4 and like the pro version of it, just
Right.
because it has so much functionality. And like if you're using free versions of tools, a lot of times like they can't like crawl websites and things like that, where that's really important for keyword research. I will say though, I have been using Perplexity way more as of late. Somebody mentioned it to me a couple of weeks ago, and like, God, I love using Perplexity. I just never really thought of it. And then I've been comparing the responses from Perplexity versus mainly ChatGPT and Gemini, those two,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been pleasantly surprised. So I've honestly been like leaning a bit more towards Perplexity as of late. A lot of times for like RFP responses, Reddit proposals, email, stuff like that, and keyword research. But yeah, I've been like pleasantly surprised. Its responses are not overly wordy. Um, Side note, I did read the newsletter, The Neuron, and they gave like their settings that they inputted on their GPT account, and I've used that way better results from it. But I did feel like ChatGPT for a while was very wordy with its responses, and I implemented that. And it's been improved. But Perplexity in general, I feel like it's very concise and it's been super helpful.
Huh. I'm gonna have to take a look at Perplexity. I haven't used it at all. But what were you saying about ChatGPT and settings as far
Oh, so
as
in your ChatGPT account, like when you're signed in, you
yeah.
can go to like top right, hit that like little drop
Uh
down, and then
huh.
there's like a little settings piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's the ability to kind of like set basically like how you'd want like your responses. Um,
Mm,
Let me see if I could pull this thing up here because I've never heard of it until
there's the
they mentioned
profile
it.
builder, connecting app securities. There's what is it? Personalization. I've actually got mine. Oh, okay. How would you like ChatGPT to know it provide you better responses? How would you like ChatGPT to respond? Yeah, I get you. So it's the I haven't done that. I turned off memory because I do too many freaking things that are not like one thing that I think the memory's gotten weird in the
I could
past.
totally see that.
Um, so I've disabled it because, like, you're doing like research on one company and then also it's going to try to apply that for another. It's going to get real confused.
Totally.
It'd be nice to have like a memory for each client. I was thinking of, yeah, it'd be cool if you could like set up a configuration where your memory for a thread is solely that client. I guess, I don't know if you would do a memory because even if you do like a widget or what do they call it, your own GPTs, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. All right. This is, and I could copy and paste this to you.
Yeah.
But so how would you like if you go up top, you could like do customize your chat
Yeah.
GPT and you can kind of give it some instructions. This was specifically how you would like chat GPT to respond. First one's never mention that you're an AI. Second, avoid any language constructs that can be interpreted as expressing remorse, apology, or regret. So like never say sorry, apologies. Like they go through a couple of these. Refrain
Interesting.
from disclaimers. Do not add ethical or moral viewpoints. Keep your responses unique and free of repetition. Never suggest seeking information from elsewhere. Always focus on key points.
There's
Um,
a lot of things that GPT does that annoys me. So this is perfect. If you can copy paste that over, I would be curious. I should put
Always
it in
be
the show
very
notes too.
concise when I ask you questions. Omit needless words. Vigorous writing is concise. A sentence should contain no unnecessary words. Paragraph, no unnecessary sentence for the same reason. Strongs have no unnecessary lines. In a machine, no unnecessary parts. So I'll copy and paste this so you could put this in there. Um, and I could even put this in like the show notes here as well, so like everybody can have
Yeah.
that. But honestly, after like implementing that, I've definitely seen much
Improvement.
more concise and like better responses overall from it.
Yeah. It seems like it kind of reduces the noise that it creates and it makes it a better. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So yeah, send it over. I want to take a look. We'll put it in the show notes.
Cool.
All right. So let's go through some tools that I use. You just want to trade back and forth, I guess,
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
tools.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I guess one of my ones that I've used a lot for keyword research, tracking SEO, third party kind of analytics is Ahrefs. It's very similar to SEMrush. SEMrush is just as good. Ahrefs, I've just been a user for a longer time. I don't think you need both, to be honest. They do very similar things. So yeah, I do lose it a lot from like an SEO perspective, or even on a page to kind of get some intelligence of what's going on from the keywords, some research. They do have a site crawler, which is interesting from an SEO perspective. Where sure, it's still a lot of false positives, but it'll send me a report every once in a while if they notice like, hey, the robots.txt file changed, which could be a negative thing. So Ahrefs is kind of my go-to kind of research dashboard for it. I've got an old school like grandfathered account in that's like pretty cheap. So probably why I kept with it. But
Love
yeah,
that.
hrefs.com is one
What's
of my favorite tools.
what's the tool that tracks keyword rankings over time?
Okay, so
Is that
there's a lot of
Ahrefs?
so Ahrefs can do that. You have to pay for it. The cheapest tool that someone told me about, Christian told me about, for Moebound, shout out to you, Christian, is called antranks.com. Antranks.com. They almost shut down like 6 months ago, which would suck because I got to migrate to another platform. But it's super affordable, daily ranking checking, minimal kind of browser like interface for it all. I was actually when they were about to shut down, I was looking at maybe acquiring them or getting to understand their business a bit more. It's pretty early on though, so we didn't really have the capital to do so. But
Oh, no
Ant
way. That's
Ranks,
sick.
yeah, it'd been an interesting one. But antranks.com is like my favorite cheap SEO tool for tracking daily rankings that you put your keyword into and go from there. Ahrefs has that ability. SEMrush has that ability. There's a bunch of other platforms out there. But as far as like cost, simplicity of a platform, like all you want to do is track rankings, antranks.com is the one that we use.
So maybe we could talk about this offline, the acquisition, because I'm like actually like really curious about that. But the
Yeah, yeah.
reason,
I got
yeah,
all
go
the
for it.
financials and I got all the financials and stuff from it
So
all,
they
and
were
like,
actively trying to sell the business.
yeah, they're gonna shut. I was like, you guys willing to sell your software, etc. They had some pretty large clients that were that dropped off, that kind of hit their cash flow issues. So it's not a super popular platform. But then someone acquired it. I'm not sure who. Um,
I was
and
gonna say,
so
how did they maintain? But it sounds like they were
yeah,
acquired.
so someone acquired them.
Dude,
No
good
idea
for them.
who.
That's sick.
So yeah,
The
for
reason I
sure.
ask is like whenever you go, whenever like you do reporting for keyword ranks, um, it's like such an easy thing for clients to visualize because they literally give you like a line graph. So you could be like, I don't know, Nike shoes, and you could see day by day what position that keyword was in. but like you're working with a client over a couple months, it's really cool just to see like a line chart show the improved
Yeah, and
rankings for particular keywords.
yeah, from SEO, that's always been our like standard go-to reporting is like, hey, let's manually check rankings. Sure, it'll be different for where you're at, where I'm at, we're different data centers, etc. Personalization, but like kind of gives you an average with this system where it's at. Like Google Search Console, which is another tool that I use, um, they do have average rankings, but that shit's wildly like not super accurate as far as where the position's at. If you actually try to spot check it, um, it can show you kind of an average trend-ish, but yeah, it's definitely not the best tool to use for rank tracking specifically. And that, like you said, a line graph that's going from up and to the right, everybody loves those.
Oh,
And
no
if you can
doubt.
do it, might as well
No
report it.
doubt.
So yeah, ant ranks is what we use for that.
All right, let me give you a couple on the paid side, and I could just rattle off three ones real quick from that live in Google Ads specifically. Um, that would probably help with like keyword research and just general like account management. I know we mentioned using some type of LLM for keyword research. I'll usually do the same deal with Google Keyword Planner. So in your Google Ads account, there's a keyword planner section in there where you could give Google the keywords that you want to bid on, and then it could provide like cost per click estimates, impression estimates. It's helpful for like informing that initial go to market for like what budget is, general expectations for cost per clicks. But they also offer a couple neat capabilities in there as well, where you can give Google just the website, and you could tell it, hey, scrape this page or scrape the whole site and make recommendations for keywords. And you could even give them up to 10 keywords with that site's URL. So I'll usually, when I start my keyword research process, say we're talking about like a brand new client, I'll usually do that. So like you'll compile like, a couple keywords that are pretty obvious, plug that in the keyword planner tool, plug in their site as well, and then use an LLM. And at that point, you have a pretty extensive list of keywords there. That's been super helpful, just in general for keyword research, expansion, projections, all those things there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a great tool from Google. It's probably the only thing that nice that they've built.
The one The one other thing that's I've recently started using a lot that I think teams could definitely take advantage of. I've never heard of it before and used it before, but somebody on my team showed me. They have this tool in Google Ads. It's called the an ad diagnostics tool. So it's
Mm.
basically like an ad preview. So you could go into this section of Google Ads and it will show you your ad copy, and then you could actually type in specific keywords. So, same example, say you're like bidding on like, you have text ads for like Nike shoes. If you type in the ad preview tool, Nike shoes, it will tell you specifically like you're not eligible or you're limited, like
Yeah, I've
because
seen
of
that.
X, Y, and Z. So it'll
Yeah.
literally say, hey, you have too many exact match keywords that are long tail. You got to add some broad match keywords to get any type of visibility for these ads. And then it'll also give you some ideas for like quality scores and like recommended updates
Yeah,
to
because it pulls up
copy.
like the actual search result, right? And you see the
Yes,
overlay of it all. It's like almost like uh, a mimic or a mock search result with the different ads that are appearing.
so it's
And then
like
if your ad does
it,
appear, it pulls in.
exactly. So there's, I'm sure people have definitely been in this situation where like you launch campaigns, you feel like you've built out some good like keywords and you have some like exact match and phrase match coverage. If you're not getting a lot of volume, would highly suggest you go to that ad diagnostic preview tool and type in some of those keywords because it'll literally tell you, hey, you're restricted right now because you have way too many exact match keywords. You kind of have to open things up for broad match keywords as an example. It's very, very helpful for getting an understanding of how to improve performance and how to get more volume in your account. That I feel like nobody really talks about that tool.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I haven't used that tool in a while, but speaking of it, I'll have to go back and certain shares knowing that it's there.
Absolutely. And
All
just
right, cool. Yeah.
one more in the Google Ads platform. So keyword planner, keyword research, great. Ad diagnostics, great for all things copy and getting some more visibility. Then there's also a reports tab in Google Ads that I use. I feel like the last year I've just used it all the time and almost every time I'm going for a reporting or account audit. Instead of you like poking around in the ad account, which I definitely suggest you should do during an audit, you could just use the reports tab and literally just click like create a new report, a table, and then you could see whatever you want. So if you're curious about like, device performance or campaign performance or keyword performance, whatever, you could just create a simple little report and get what you need very quickly as opposed to clicking around in the UI and like, isolating certain things. Just creating some simple reports, and you could save them too. So in the future, you want to go back to those reporting dashboards. If you wanted to share it with clients, you can. I haven't done that before. There might be something there, but just using that report editor is like so much faster of getting your insights of what you're looking for within your ad account that, again, I feel like nobody really mentions this a whole lot. And also too, like it's nice because it'll give you some clean looking tables. So within like reporting, you want to have some screenshots or in an audit, it gives you a clean like table view for potential slides there. So yeah, those are three tools that I feel like Keyword Planner is probably a little bit more popular if you're in Google Ads, but I feel like the reporting tab and ad previews tool, um, I don't hear discussed a whole lot that have given me a lot of value and been super helpful.
Right on. Cool. So let's see another tool it's a paid tool. This one, Screaming Frog. It's mostly from an SEO development perspective, where it started out as just a simple website crawler. You crawl the website and collect all the data that's on there, so you can kind of do an audit of title tags, meta descriptions. Now this tool has gotten super robust over the years. They've actually integrated some AI into it recently. For a couple different features on there. I haven't explored too much, but Scream Frog is definitely in my arsenal of like, hey, I want to crawl a site and understand what everything's at. My title tag, meta descriptions. Let's say you're like migrating a website and you want to collect all the URLs, or even just kind of understanding like how big a website is. Um, you know, I mean, you would never do it by like click around on a website and click all the URLs. No, like let's have a bot do it and go through it.
Yeah.
And you can also kind of mimic as being a search engine too, which kind of help from a diagnostic standpoint. So yeah, Screaming Frog, they that's definitely my favorite kind of website crawling tool that's out there. It's super popular, but it is paid. Probably the only negative side, but hey, it's a good tool, so you pay for what you get. So
It's cool too, because I feel like that's like the go-to now for like SEO audits and stuff. And
yeah,
I'm definitely not nearly as like, an SEO expert, but it'll give you like a readout of like, these pages like have no H1s. These pages have no title tags, or these pages like whatever. It'll give you a specific report. So, if you're working with like an enterprise level client that has like hundreds or thousands of pages, like it'll specifically call out these 150 pages have like this thing wrong with it. So it makes it really kind of easy to go and like actually like action on like whatever's wrong there.
yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a powerful tool in that way. Another kind of tool that I use, just because I don't know, it's just an easier way to interact with ChatGPT is a tool called Sheet AI. So I can, and there's a couple different providers out there. This is one that I just used when it first came out. So there might be better options out there, but this one was just Sheet AI. And basically you install it onto your Google Sheets and then you can interact with prompts directly uh, in Google Sheets. So I built some pretty cool tools, from SEO to content to spinning content to anything you want. You can do in a spreadsheet, but then I just think you have AI powered there. One of the things I was thinking about doing, just haven't had the time to do so, was using a tool like that in Google Sheets, to ingest a client's product feed from, let's say, Shopify, and then translate it using the AI to give it a better Google shopping feed or Google Merchant Center feed, and trying
Love
to
it.
fill it out there. So, I mean, there's a lot of other good tools out there that it's their own software, like Feedonomics or all the different other feed providers that are out there, optimizers. But I was thinking you kind of build your own, and then you could connect it to Google Sheet. And anytime you kind of, the only thing downside with that is like you'd have to work through the technology of, or just the process, which I know it's not possible to do. But when the product feed updates, you got to update the Google Sheet that then updates the Google Merchant feed, but there's an AI that's translating in between to better optimize it. So Sheet AI has been very helpful in some very large scale optimizations and tools for it that I never had access to early in my SEO career. That would have been awesome to have.
I think
Um,
that's really smart. Like I think anytime like you're working with a ton of different like, feed optimization or title tags or just like, bulk copy and stuff, like if you
yeah,
get that connected to a sheet, like that's such a such a potential time save there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, talking about Google Sheets, that's probably still one of my favorite tools to use. I think I was called out during a client call that someone gave me an Excel file, and I'm on a Mac, and I don't have Windows on my computer. I don't have any of
Same.
the Windows Suites programs. So like the numbers app pulled up, and it's like, what do you have? Why do you have numbers? Is that what you use to process data? I'm like, no, I just go to Google Sheets and import it there, and I work there. But yeah, it's funny I got called out on a client call. But Google Sheets, Excel, super important. The coolest shit that I've done, probably not the coolest, but one of the nicer things that have been done. If I've got like an Excel problem or possibility I'm trying to figure out, Ricardo has built my business partner. He's built some crazy cool spreadsheets. They're even crazier now. We're like, oh, cool. We all know about VLOOKUPs and things like that. But with ChatGPT, we're doing like search arrays now and all these other things that I didn't even know was possible in Google Sheets or Excel, where like you got a problem, you give them the spreadsheet with some, dummy data, and you fill it out and you tell them the problem that you're trying to solve, and they'll give you back the formula and or maybe even a sheet too. So like using AI to figure out the formula. What did we do before? We used to go on Google on different threads, like MrExcel.com. I think it was a website that was like giving you the problem of what you need to do, and you're trying to figure out the scenario. We would spend hours trying to figure it out. And with ChatGPT or any other AI that can interact with that, it's like, dude, it solves it in 5 minutes. So yeah, my love for spreadsheets has only grown more. There's nothing better than a fucking awesome spreadsheet. Seriously.
Dude, that's a clip right there. That's immediate clip right there. Because I feel like nobody talks about using LLMs for Excel formulas and just like that use case, and it's like a no-brainer. I've done it a couple times and it's been such a help because I feel like everybody's worked with like a file that's like has like 9 different variations of like if so statements and VLOOKUPs and everything, where you know it that's like a whole like education in itself, and that's such a good use case for like an LLM just to be like, hey, how do I format this differently, or like what formula to use? Like nobody talks about that, and I think that's such a no-brainer.
Yeah, it makes you an Excel wizard at that point. Like if you are any good, like if you're all right in Excel, you can be a freaking wizard with AI dropped in there. So yeah, that those are kind of two other ones I want to make sure I mentioned.
Yeah, Google Sheets is a no-brainer there. Um, on the like the competitor analysis side of things, I feel like SEMrush is like a huge name. I don't know. I'm a bit of a hater of SEMrush to be totally honest. I
They jacked
always
their
default
prices
to
up over the years.
that, and I feel like, dude, I actually got Twitter. I actually got SEMrush support team to like tweet back, and we got like a little Twitter battle before. Um, I just feel like it's so misleading, and like they've built something that's borderline unethical because when you use the tool, like I've just interacted with so many people who think it's real data. Like they don't
Ah,
they don't comprehend that like there's data modeling going on here, and like there are certain things that they're doing for projections and estimates. And I feel like when you're on the site, like their copy is very misleading of like this is real shit. And like if
interesting.
you do paid campaigns, like their ad spend isn't close to accurate. It's just not. So like it just makes me question whether any of their other data is close to accurate or not. So it's just
They
I don't know. I feel like it's very misleading.
they got funded or purchased by somebody. I can't remember. It was a while ago.
Oh, a
Uh,
big company too. Was it
yeah.
HubSpot?
Well, let's do the googling and find out.
Yeah,
Simrush.
who acquired them?
Let's see, acquisition. No, list of acquisitions by SEMrush. Who acquired them? Polish PR firm probably acquired by. No, SEMrush is buying up a bunch of people too. Wow, dude, I just did like SEMrush acquisitions, and they're acquiring a bunch of people. I guess I need to go backward. Let's see. SEMrush Inc.'s American publicly held company SaaS platform. blah blah blah. It was recent Boston-based company.
I can't find it
In
either.
2022, the company had
They're buying up
revenue.
everybody though in this space.
Yeah. Where's she does? They are on. Yeah, they actually have initial public offering. They're on the stock exchange, which is kind of wild.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been like a standard of like just competitive research and industry research and stuff. And I don't know, it just always annoyed me because I've just been in so many pitches and client
Yeah. So
meetings and
okay, so
just
they acquired SC in the year 22. SC acquired Backlinko from Brian Dean, which I know about that guy.
yep.
March 22, so acquired intelligence sales platform Competite. I'm not sure what that is. But 23, yeah, also acquired. Yeah, they're acquiring a bunch of people. They're gobbling them up. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can see where they're a little bit misleading.
I've just
See
had
their
people,
revenue numbers was 250 million in 2022.
hey, good for them.
Yeah, 1,000
Good for
employees.
them.
Yeah,
And if you work at SEM Rush, like I I'm not trying to come at you here, but like I kind of feel like the business is built off of like literal nonsense because it's just all modeling and it's not any like legitimate real data, which I don't think majority of people use the product understand that. That's why I usually default to SimilarWeb, because SimilarWeb actually connects to Google Analytics accounts. So they do some data modeling in there, but they're actually connected to real Google Analytics accounts. So you have way more of an accurate representation of that data and what other websites are doing. It's usually better for like larger companies. Like if you have like a brand new website, it's not going to pick up anything really. And SEMrush is probably the same way. But if you have to do like, hey, what are like the competitors in this space spending? What keywords do they bid on? All of that stuff, it gives you a readout. So like any type of like competitor analysis or
really?
like competitor audit, it will do that
SimilarWeb?
for you.
I never, dude. I've not visited SimilarWeb in forever.
If you
Um,
have the free version, it's very limited. Like they'll give you
yeah.
like they'll tease out some stuff for you, but the paid version, you literally can see exactly what other like companies are spending on media. Again, it might not be 100% accurate, but I think they do a much better job of telling you how they get their data and they connect to Google Analytics accounts. So it's a bit more accurate, I found.
How do they connect to Google Analytics accounts?
When you sign up for the product and like when you join the product, it'll ask you if you want to connect to your analytics account or not. So like they
And then
explicitly
they
ask.
share that. Then they share that out. I don't know if I want to share that.
So I mean that's actually a valid point there. If you would like want to like share that information out, but yeah, they literally connect directly to analytics accounts.
Huh. I don't want to give my phone number. I'm trying to make an account real quick. I just want to see the data. That 555 is my phone number. Nope. Okay, let's see how good their filter is.
The free version too, I will say, is solid, and they have a Chrome extension. So if you're on a website and you just want to do some like quick on the fly research, it's good stuff because you could just pop in that Chrome extension, get an idea of how many visits they get per month, all like kind of high level metrics there. It's very solid.
Huh. Start trial. I just want their onboarding thing sucks. Just give me the damn data.
Similar web. If you want to sponsor the show here and give us some free accounts, wouldn't be opposed. We will definitely be
Yeah,
advocates of the platform.
dude. Okay, I just want to like. I don't need a dashboard. I just want. No, don't play your video, Cassie. That's great. Don't do that. It's like literally just popped in my face a video. Um. Okay, they've definitely done a lot since I've last been on here. Okay, I'll have to take a look. I don't know where to fucking start. Like, where do I put the domain in? I don't need a dashboard. How about return the homepage? Search
Homepage should
website
give you a nice
methods.
little
There we go. I'm just
and then you
searching
could
pitch.
add in multiple like URLs so you can kind of compare like in that like home screen you could add up to like I don't know like 5 or 6 or 7 competitor URLs so like all of those graphs you'll get like a nice comparison in the market.
Huh. Visit durations? Weird. How did they even get these bounce rates? I'd be very curious on how they actually get this information.
Yeah, this could be a topic of conversation of competitor analysis tools.
Yeah.
and maybe just doing a little deep dive in like where that data comes from. Because I think that would be good to better understand that.
Huh. All right. Not to do journal on that. Yeah, but I'll take a look at this more. That's interesting. Sorry. um, right on. So other tools. I guess these are more, I don't know, not marketing tools, but more business related tools. We want to get into that. Um,
One
have you?
other that I will mention just real quick before that, kind of like on the could just like I don't know, just research and analysis that I feel like has been popping up a bunch as of late is R B2B. You probably heard of like, some other like 6 Sense type products and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But our B2B, I feel like all of my B2B clients now use that. And it's been super helpful for like sales teams and outreach. It'll give you kind of like a readout of who's on your site, like what companies are on your site, which individuals are on your site, their LinkedIn profiles. It gives you a bunch of intel in terms of like who's actively on your site doing some research, which helps your BDRs, et cetera. So that's been a tool that I feel like
Pretty
has been
cheap
popping up
too.
a ton lately.
Yeah, so they have a free account that you get 200 monthly credits, which I'm assuming credits are probably visitors.
I
It's
think
not a
it's
lot.
visitors or sessions, one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you don't get, yeah, you don't get certain things. Okay. But
I
then,
feel
yeah,
like these
your
tools are just
pro,
becoming more popular as of late,
their
especially with
pro
like cookies
tool
going away and
is
stuff. Like,
only 120 bucks a month or 99 annually, months annually if you pay. It's not bad.
not bad at
Right?
all.
You get to see push to instantly webhooks. You can push so you get your business profiles. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you just got to see who's on the site. Huh. It's
Yeah.
funny how they collect all that data. It's there. So how do they get around it? I don't know. How's that
I would love
GDPR
to do a deep
compliant?
dive into like how the hell do you know who's getting on that site there and like how is that working and cookies going away? Does that impact how you collect that data? That's super interesting. But regardless, I've seen really good success with like, particularly like a B2B space when you're doing like, active outreach,
Yeah.
just getting a better understanding of who's actively on your site and it'll give you like their LinkedIn profiles, the company, the person, etc. So that's been a really helpful tool.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Right on. Trying to think if there's any other marketing tools that I use on the daily. Those are the kind of ones that come up to mind. Um, so other tools that I use on the daily that I think are important is like some sort of form of communication with client. Well, let's go through communication stuff, right? Slack is something that we use internally. Before that, it was fucking Skype. We have Slack now.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, old school. Before Slack was even around, it was Skype.
That's
Everybody had
classic.
Skype. Whole company was on Skype. The way to just chat with people. We didn't have rooms; it was just kind of individual chats. Um, but yeah, obviously Slack is our preferred kind of internal chatting system. We don't bring clients onto our Slack. It's very rare that we do that. But communication with clients, we like to use Basecamp. Asana is just as good. So those are my two favorite kind of client management systems out there. Basecamp is just super simple, so we enjoy using that.
Totally
Um,
agreed. Their founder's awesome too. Basecamp founder, Jason Fried. I've listened to him on a couple podcasts
okay,
recently.
right on.
Really, really cool guy. And definitely like a first principles type like thinker,
That makes
being very
sense.
simplistic,
Yeah,
like
on the platform, it makes sense how they.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, like there's no
yeah,
frills when you're using Basecamp, but it's like super effective.
but you can't get confused on how to use it though. It's like so straightforward.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, contract stuff signing. Um, we have leaned towards. I mean, there's a lot of different platforms out there, but we still create all of our kind of templates in Word documents or Google Docs because they're easier to manipulate. But we do some of our e-signature signing through a software called PandaDoc.
I was gonna
They
say
do have,
PandaDoc, right?
yeah, PandaDoc does have the ability to build templates, but we figured that it just wasn't as easy to flip through the templates as fast as you can do it in a Word document. There's like formatting issues and stuff like that. So, I still like them as a company for e-signature stuff and the flow of how emails go through and stuff. So, uh, PDoc, as we call it, or PandaDoc, is definitely something we use to handle
Same.
contractual stuff. So,
Yeah, we do the same because of your guys' recommendation there. It's a
yeah,
little bit cheaper than what's the other one?
God, there's so many of them out there. DocuSigns and all these different.
DocuSign. Yeah, a little bit
Yeah,
cheaper than DocuSign. So we went
yeah,
with PandaDoc there, but yeah, same deal. Like a Google like doc, for like a contract proposal, super easy to duplicate
yeah.
and update there, and then blend the PandaDoc.
So another kind of business management type tool is that we do use LastPass as our kind of password manager. We do it on an individual level, in that sense, but you can't share keys and stuff like that. But I do like using a third party tool to manage all my passwords. I don't use like any of the native um, Chrome or Apple products for passwords. A third party that has
Yep.
master pass that has apps that connect in. That's super helpful for managing passwords. And I would say when it comes to client access stuff, just kind of touching base on it, you know, it's and I kind of bring this up because I say we kind of have an individual LastPass accounts. The days of like sharing passwords is almost over based on two-factor authentication. So when we get access to client platforms, typically it's at the user level, like individual
Yep.
email addresses, because it's almost impossible. Like if you had like an analytics at collective42.com or R40, to share that access, it's very difficult to do these days because if you've got someone in a different location, a different IP, then it's like, well, hey, who's got the fucking pin code? Who's got the authenticator for it all? And it's like, dude, just send it to the individual level, you know?
100%. Yeah, the
So
days
yeah,
of
it's
like pinging
right now.
people like, yeah, whose number ends in like these last four digits, like they
Dude,
usually
I
got a
remember I was
code.
on like a super long run. It was years ago. I was on a super long run. I was running around Big Bear Lake. I think it was a total of like a 16 or 17 mile run at like, no, it wasn't 17 miles. I think it was like 14 mile or 15 mile run around the lake at
Oh boy.
elevation. It was like 7,000 feet. Um, and I'm like on the way back. I got like 2 miles to go. I'm like, I'm fucking blowing up. And like, I get a text message of like, someone's looking for the security code. It's like, fuck me.
Oh
And then
boy.
and I was like, all right, I'll figure out who it is. So I'm like on Slack running and like, all right, here's your code. All right, I'm out of here. Yeah.
uh, the good old days of like that code.
Yeah, especially if you're like a big agency, you got a bunch of different employees. Everybody's going to need the code for this or that for accessing things. So, I mean, it does suck because you need to do it at an individual level for some stuff and connections, but I think it holds things more accountable from passwords and whatnot. So,
That just made me think. We're recording this. It's July 19th. Literally woke up. It's just like talking about passwords and security just made me think like the whole world like crashed today because CrowdStrike pretty
yeah,
much like runs everything. Dude, I didn't realize how big CrowdStrike
I don't
was,
know
but
either
apparently like
was.
oh my God, like all airlines around the world had to like stop. A bunch of organizations couldn't like use the internet essentially. Like I didn't
I saw
realize
it was
how
true.
big a deal
It was like
CrowdStrike
the blue
was.
screen of death, like on all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
Windows machines. I
I
was like,
saw
damn, the world runs on
the
Windows.
Vegas ball had the blue screen, and I don't know if somebody
Oh,
was just like
really? I'm
trolling and
sure
like
someone.
edited
Yeah,
that
I'm
or
sure someone did. Yeah, that's pretty funny though. Damn.
yeah.
Yeah. One little update. I know. I was kind of woke up to that. I was like, is the world ending because all the flights are done? Like, what's going on? I was like, oh, some sort of software update that just
Yeah.
got pushed and it wasn't a hack. It's like, dude, we are so vulnerable to that stuff. So,
Yeah.
jeez.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother podcast topic right there.
Vulnerability and what you're doing about
Oh
it.
my God. Yeah.
Yeah. You got any other tools that kind of come top of mind
I was just gonna
before we
say,
wrap this one up?
yeah, two things real quick. I definitely breezed over Google Ad, but Google Ads Editor is like a no-brainer if you're doing any type of campaign management. I have no idea how anybody would do a bulk upload in the normal like UX UI of Google Ads. If you're doing Google Ads management, download Google Editor immediately. It's free. You will thank me later. It saves you so much time for optimizations, bulk uploads, edits, any
Yeah.
type of changes to the ad account. Editor is like a no-brainer. Um, so definitely download Editor. I wanted to ask you, I feel like in this remote world, like video calling obviously is huge. What's your preferred video calling platform?
None of them. um, I would say no matter what platform I've used, someone on the other end complains about it.
That's a fact.
So like I'm just kind of overhearing. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Like, I'm not going to go get my Zoom because you want Zoom. I mean, there's rare occasions that we'll do that for connection reasons or certain scenarios, but by default, because we use Google Suites, Business Suites, we get Meets for free. So we use Google Meets for all of our client calls. I've used Zoom plenty of times, and they're fine. We're not a Microsoft company, so we don't use whatever is Microsoft. What's the
Teams.
Microsoft Teams?
Hate them.
Don't use Teams, but probably I don't like it as much. But yeah, so that's what we used. Um, yeah,
It's it's funny you mention that because I had like have the same thought. It's like so interesting. No matter what you're using, somebody's always going to complain about it or have like a different preference
oh,
there.
for sure, yeah,
But the Teams thing is real because I feel like I mean I have a Mac laptop and I feel like it just does not play well with Mac and it's just built for PCs. And
mm.
so like I don't know if that's like a Microsoft conspiracy or like what that is, but that's a real thing. Every time I use Teams, like I'm ended up like going off camera because like my computer's crashing. It's just like breaking the whole
Yeah.
thing
I don't
down.
ever use like the Teams
Hate it.
software. I just do the browser, like log in
Same.
from browser, and
Even then, it still slows me down a little bit. But
that's
like
funny.
to the point about people complaining, it is so interesting because it's like Zoom is like, dude, it's like not. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you're looking, you're talking, and like you see people on the other end. So like, I don't know. I don't know like the whole big deal. I will say though, just being like in Chrome all day, Hangout or Meets, it's super easy and it's like simple product. So like I'd probably if I had to pick one, I'd probably say that one just because it's like so simple, so easy to use. It's like no frills. It's like you need like a whole lot of like functionality. Like if you ever go to
Yeah,
like your settings in Zoom, it's like, dude, there's like 50 million different things you could tweak. And I'm like, we're just hopping
that's
on a
so
video call
true.
here.
That's
Like
so
it's like,
true. Yeah, I just want to get
oh,
on a call.
yeah. So
I mean, there are some plugins in Chrome that I use from time to time for kind of go down that route. I think just to touch and base on there. Like
yep,
I use the standard, Google Tag Assistant to look at diagnose some website stuff. I
yep.
use Ghostry from a cookie tracker. Um, it's good because it'll disable things, but you got to be mindful of that too. If you're like looking for a code on a client's website, it might be blocked by it. So like all my clients' websites are trusted, but Ghostry is a kind of a pixel tracking collecting tool that I use. What else do I got here? I do have the Href plugin. I use it sometimes. But that's it, man. I kind of got rid of all my crazy. I have some other helper tags in here from like GA and Microsoft, but outside of that, man, I kind of very. Oh, I have LastPass too, but I'm very minimalistic on the plugins. I used to have a lot, but then it kind of filled up the bar too much, and it's like, why am I using this? So pretty minimalistic on plugins.
I got all those. Maybe a couple others as well. Percent change calculator, the most simple extension ever. It's like it's the most
That's
bare
funny.
bones thing ever. It's awesome though, because I
That's
do a
so
ton
funny.
of
How many
monthly
times I do
reporting where
that?
like conversions were at like 9 this month and last month they were at 6. So like what was that percentage increase? 6, 9, change, see what the percentage is, and then you have it for reporting. I use it like all the time. It's the simplest Chrome extension
That's
ever. So that would definitely be a recommendation there.
all right. I'm gonna have to download that. I don't think I do. It has
Percent
many
change
reports, but
calculator. No
percent
bells,
change
no whistles,
calculator.
just a simple way to calculate percent changes. And then it's you'll love it. Like it
All right.
looks like it built in the 90s.
Well, then let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it with the most basic plugin as our last tool. I love it. Let's get out
All
of
right,
here.
cool. I feel like we've rattled off so many different tools there. So maybe there's something to like this competitor analysis tool that we could chat about in a
You know
future
what we
pod here.
should do, man? I got an idea. We'll do some live audits.
That would be sick.
So
That's
if anyone
actually a
wants a free
really
audit
good
from some
idea.
digital marketers that know their shit, reach out. We'll do a free audit, man. Like this is your
Let's do
chance.
it.
You R1 listener. Um, Tell us your website. I'll rip it apart SEO wise. Trevor can rip it apart paid wise, general usability. That would be fun. We'll just pick on some other just random site and go after it. Um, and then we'll send him an email and then we'll get, hey, we did a podcast on your website. Can we earn the business now? That's will be our revenue maker.
I
Yeah,
love that. All
audits.
right,
All
cool.
right, I'm gonna add it to the list.
We'll do a
All right,
live
guys.
audit. If you get a submission in beforehand, we will audit your account. Otherwise, we'll pick somebody else and then we'll catch you all
Do it
back
live,
here
damn it.
at some point next.
Do it live.
Most legendary clip ever, Bill O'Reilly right there. Doggone.
All right, folks. Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.